Mexico, wrestling is king. Known as lucha libre, this form of the sport is part of the culture and national identity. But now, lucha libre has jumped the border and is fighting for its place in the cities of California.
I go through all this training not so I can look pretty on TV, but so I can beat somebody's ass.
In a theatrical world of dress-up.
When I wear the mask, when I wear the whole suit, it kind of feels like, you know, I'm a superhero.
But always with the risk of serious injury looming over.
Broken ankle. I broke my ribs.
And blood just gushing and pouring out.
This is the extravagant world of lucha libre. San Jose, California, the capital of Silicon Valley, and a city that has an unlikely claim to fame. For here, in a quiet neighborhood, lies an unruly group of residents. This is the home of the Lucha Libre Training Academy. Here, a mix of wrestlers gather at the end of their day for a workout that will beat them, exhaust them,
24, 25,
and make them cry out in pain.
Obviously, here I have to be tough, you know, with them. Tough love, you know.
In a few days' time, on Saturday in Watsonville, California, Pro Wrestling Revolution hosts the Night of Champions, and the cream of the crop will be competing. Cafu, Blue Demon Jr., El Último Panda, the Border Patrol, and El Mariachi, one of the rising stars here at the Academy.
Anybody in this business always pictures himself going at the very top, and I'm no different than that.
He has been competing for 2 years and lives for the thrill of performing in front of a cheering crowd.
The feeling you get before you come out through the curtain to when you get in the ring, it's just something else. It's a feeling that I crave for every time. It feels like, you know, I'm a superhero. On the lines that, you know, you don't know who I am, and I'm out there kicking butt.
But for these characters to truly exist, a separation from reality must be maintained. The fans can't know who the real person is behind the mask, or this wonder will be lost.
A lot of my work colleagues don't know what I do. A lot of them just think I'm a regular guy who lives a regular life, but in reality I have sort of a mystique, different second life to me, which is being the luchador that I am.
Drawing a line between their two lives allows this collective the ultimate freedom to express themselves however they wish in the ring.
So, to be a successful luchador, you have to be a wonderful storyteller. And the more complicated your stories are, and the more ups and downs there are in your career, the more the audience will eat it up.
The audience is not coming to watch in silence, though. This is very much a two-way affair.
This then becomes a place where they can go and have release. And they just basically just bring out all their emotions and all their anger and their frustrations and also their celebration within the arena. It is this novela. It is this theater that they're experiencing.
But the taboo subject of the sport is where the line is drawn between reality and theater.
If you overanalyze it, you want to get too deep behind that curtain, you're going to lose the love that you have for it as a fan.
You learn to control the crowd like a roller coaster. You bring them up and you bring them down, and they don't even realize it, but you're conducting them, just like a conductor in an orchestra. And that's one of the biggest buzzes. That's one of the best feelings I've had.
But before this ultimate payoff comes the heavy training. And with the event in Watsonville only 4 days away, there is still plenty of work to be done. For the athletes at the Lucha Libre Academy, training is tough and requires complete dedication. But wrestling is rarely a full-time job, and for most, it only comes after a hard day's work. Here, in the Bridgepoint Senior Living Community in Los Altos, we find the head trainer from the academy.
Hey, Marjorie, can you meet me in 157, please?
Okay.
Andres, good morning.
Good morning, Victor.
¿Cómo está todo?
Everything is okay.
Victor Sharon is our Director of Environmental Services. His responsibility is for maintenance of the building as well as housekeeping. Victor is probably one of the most gentle, kindest people you're ever going to meet in your life. The residents here love Victor.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hey. How are you today? Doing okay?
Hello,
Mr. Jack, how you doing?
He has a knack. What comes across in the arena or in the ring is a knack. He is able to mold people and bring people in and make them interested in that character. Well, here it's the same way. He's able to use the same talents, but in a different way with the seniors. And he's just as open with them as he is with his audience.
Like most of the wrestlers, Victor has to lead a split life. One is your usual 9-to-5 working family man, but the other is the opposite and lives on the outside of society.
I guess Cafu is my alter ego. It's a guy inside me that wants to fight for his people, you know, my Latin community. And he's a champion, you know, that's what Cafu is. Cafu is a wild man in the civilized world. That's what Cafu is. You know?
Connecting with the crowd might be the end goal, but for a certain few, getting there is an even harder task than normal, as La Furiosa has found out.
Being a female in wrestling is very strange. It is really rare to walk in a training situation and find more than one girl there, or any girls at all.
And there are some quite clear differences between the U.S. style of wrestling and lucha libre.
In Mexico, women's wrestling is a big part of the shows. Unfortunately, here in the United States, the only way to get attention as of late is to have a very small waist, to be a model, and have boobs bigger than your head.
And a 10. 1, 2, 3.
But wrestling for real means you have to take the hits for real, and Furiosa takes a serious pounding in the ring.
I hate getting hurt. Getting hurt sucks, but and that's why you gotta be tough and you have to train and do the best you can to protect yourself in the ring. So I don't, getting hurt is horrible.
At Tuesday's training session, Victor reminds his students how to act in front of the audience at the upcoming event.
You're gonna still be professional, and that's our job, or as trainers, to teach you that part too.
He expects total commitment in the ring, and so takes a different tack from his day job.
In my normal job, you happen to find a soft Victor there because the environment there. Here, I have to be the tough hand guy, you know, with my students.
It's a physical sport, and injuries can happen in the blink of an eye. So one of the first things to learn is how to hit the mat safely. Known as a bump, this is how the crew starts their evening.
I don't want to see half-ass snap. So when you come in here, you gotta sweep. You gotta take a bump. You gotta take a bump. Take a bump. Take a bump.
But after bumps, there are hundreds of moves and variations to master, including lockups, kicks, elbows, throws, and the all-important pin. Cafu might look the epitome of a wrestler, but a more unlikely candidate is Gabrielle's daughter. Shakara is hoping to referee at Watsonville this weekend, but when she isn't breaking up the wrestlers, she's getting stuck in like the rest of them. It's not your average hangout for a 17-year-old girl, but having been brought up within the world of her father's obsession, it seems to have rubbed off on her. And tonight, there is no easy ride for the boss's daughter.
It's difficult to watch her do it because, again, that is my daughter. And I would rather have her concentrate on water polo, concentrate on softball, friends, the mall, work. There's a risk in getting hurt in the ring at any single moment, from a roll, from a lockup, from a body slam, from a clothesline, to a submission.
And as if on cue, Shakara pulls up hurt in the ring.
There's something in the end. I just hit my arm and it's numb and it hurts bad.
Just here, huh?
Yeah.
Don't cry.
Stop touching it. Stop touching.
Well, what's your mom?
Okay? Relájate, no llores. Don't cry.
I can't stand her crying like that. I can't see it. It just kills me. You guys want to know why I don't want her to do it? And there's your answer.
Every wrestler lives to perform for a crowd, but something that comes hand in hand with this is pain.
The ring is not a giant mattress. The ring, all it consists of is a little pad, wood, and metal. Falling there, I'm a 245-pound guy. Falling in there, it hurts, so injuries are there.
Volunteering to put themselves in the firing line, this crazy band of fighters racks up an impressive catalog of damage.
I've had 3 concussions.
I had 2 knee surgeries.
Hit me right here. My 25th birthday, actually, the exact day of my 25th birthday, and split me open. I had to go get, I think it was 11 staples.
Broken wrist.
I've had 2 possible concussions.
I've torn a couple muscles.
And blood just gushing and pouring out.
I have a shoulder surgery.
It was purple on top of the whole foot and on the bottom for weeks.
I wrestle with a broken hand.
I've had several concussions, separated shoulders.
They are punishing their bodies each time they step in the ring, but this is what they signed up for.
Bottom line is that fans or promoters, they don't care if you're hurt. You're there to perform, so you have to finish your job.
For this wrestler, pain has always played a significant role in his career. And while he may appear cute and cuddly, behind that mask lies a ferocious animal.
I always liked, the physical. That was my style. I was, they call it stiff wrestling. It's, a lot of strikes, a lot of elbows, a lot of knees, and, a lot of pain.
Before this luchador earned the right to wear a mask, his wrestling career was a world away from the flamboyant style of lucha libre.
I started doing a little bit of hardcore, where it's objects, like chairs, ladders, light tubes, barbed wire, staple guns, lots of blood, not a whole lot of wrestling, just going out there and just bashing people, bleeding everywhere.
But over the years, the priorities have changed for Panda. And even though the role he plays at work is a million miles from his character in the ring, he still needs to look the part.
With age, there's so many bumps you can take, You know, there's so many hits in the head you can take. I have a real job. Monday morning, I gotta go and work. It's gonna be weird to do my real job when I have a Band-Aid across my head, or, you know, I have a black eye or I have scratches.
But there is something beyond this that makes both the panda gimmick and lucha libre perfect for him.
I'm a father now, I have a family, you know. My son loves watching me pro wrestling, and, you know, I can't really take him to these kind of matches where, you know, I'm bleeding. My most important fan, you know, is my family, my son.
It is not every day that you get to see a grown man dress up as a panda and wrestle. But for the fans of lucha libre, this is exactly why they come.
The first show was like, okay, this is it. If it works, it works. If not, I'll get laughed at, and then I'll just go home, no big deal. And the first show, I went out there as Panda, and every kid would start chanting, Panda, Panda. And it fueled me, and, you know, and I've been the Panda ever since.
It may seem over the top and a little ridiculous, but it works, as Panda's wife, Veronica, clearly knows.
It's phenomenal. The crowd is enthusiastic, and it becomes contagious. My son loves the fact that his dad is the Panda, wrestles as a panda, because prior to that, he would come home and he would have cuts on his face or damage to his ear or in pain. But now my son's, he's excited to watch the shows. He's excited to talk about his dad being a panda and wrestling, and that makes us feel better.
In lucha libre, it is up to the promoter to give the crowd the comedy, action, and drama in amongst the mix of fights. But one element that is present through all of this is the ongoing battle between good and evil. The good guys are called Los Técnicos, luchadores like Mariachi, Panda, and Cafu, all out there fighting for the people. And then there are the bad guys, known as Los Rudos.
In Pro Wrestling Revolution, we made the ultimate rudo, the ultimate bad guy. And when your target audience is Latino community, what's worse than the Border Patrol?
Garnering hatred from the Hispanic crowds, the Border Patrol is a surefire way of pumping up the volume.
Outside the ring, as people are very respectful, they're very loyal, they're in great shape, they're great guys all the way around. But once showtime comes and they come out, the crowd is an uproar. It's infuriated.
Working like a charm, the Border Patrol storms out, causing all hell to break loose.
When you got a full room of Mexicans, the last thing I'm gonna do is go kiss their butts.
For Derek, the Border Patrol gimmick is something he has grown to love.
At first, it was a little tough for me because I'm not a racist in any way, so it was hard to base a gimmick off of almost pure racism.
Pieces of Mexican garbage! Viva la vida!
It's a very touchy subject, but in the same breath, a lot of people do understand it's part of the show. It's part of the good guy and the bad guy.
With the Lucha Libre event in Watsonville fast approaching, there is one last chance to stir up interest in the show. So an early morning trip to the local news station is the first port of call.
The target audience for Pro Wrestling Revolution is obviously its Latino community, because again, my goal is to bring them a little piece of home here.
Gabriel has booked some of Mexico's biggest stars to fly here and perform in the event, and he is taking full advantage of their celebrity status.
It's always good to have one of the stars on television. So it's pretty much a last push and effort to say, hey, I'm here.
But at this point for Gabriel, the pressure is rising. He has his reputation on the line and has to make sure the fans will turn up the next day. Failure to get the public interested could be a financial disaster. With the last bit of promotion complete, Gabriel will have to wait and see if the crowds will come. But over at the venue, it's time to build the ring ready for the Night of Champions. A metal frame, wooden planks, a thin foam pad and the canvas mat. This is no soft landing, as Shikata can attest. After injuring her arm in training earlier this week, Shikata thought she wouldn't be ready to referee at tonight's event.
I was in the hospital for about an hour waiting in the emergency room. She said it wasn't broken, but the muscle tissue's like swollen.
But stepping up to the plate, Shikata has decided to climb into the ring regardless.
My arm is really sore. I'm gonna have to be sliding on it, be hitting the mat. So after the match is over, it's gonna be killing me, I'm sure. I should have brought ibuprofen or something.
As the audience starts to take their seats, the wrestlers take their places behind the curtain. For some, it is straight into character, while for others, a few nerves creep to the surface. All the training has been leading up to this, and everyone here has something at stake, be it proving themselves, setting an example, or simply fighting through the pain. In the women's title fight, Shikata is braving an injury to referee the match between Lady Apache and La Diabolica.
I was super nervous to referee tonight. You don't want to mess anything up. You want to make sure everything goes according to plan.
Slamming down on the mat over and over again, her pain is clear.
Oh my God, it hurts so bad.
And with a final flourish, La Diabolica takes Lady Apache's title in a big upset for the crowd. But Shikata has held her own, and her job is done.
I mean, tonight everything went well, and I'm glad everyone's hard work paid off. And my closest friends, they think I'm kind of crazy. For my life, this is pretty typical.
After weeks of preparation, the time has come for El Mariachi to step in the ring and fight for the junior heavyweight title. Everything is set up, ready for a fairy tale ending to his rise to the top.
Can't wait to go out there and show the world the new El Mariachi look.
But ever ready to ruin the moment, in steps Brian Cage.
What does he have? I mean, come on. My freaking skills, ability, experience, level 9 sideburns, I got it all. Come on. He's got a shiny mask.
Shiny belt, shiny suit. Fit great.
Hey, let's get it straight. You don't even make me mad. You make me laugh. Ha 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 ha. It's so funny to me. I'm gonna lay you out there, get the 3 count, see you backstage, pal. That's it. That's how it's gonna go.
Having had his feathers ruffled, Mariachi takes a few moments to compose himself. Finally, his time to shine is here. After all the heavy training, injuries, and sacrifices made along the way, these wrestlers have escaped from reality to become the stars of their own show.
The majority of the luchador is it's a working class guy. When they put on the mask, they become this either villain or superhero.
And it is this distinction between the real and the ring that drives them to take such punishment for their passion.
Lucha Libre, they give the fans 100% and then some. It's like, wow, that was over the top, amazing, can't wait for it next year.